So moving right along, the next unit is radians, and this is the one, I know I put it's the easiest one, but you're really welcome to use any of them. This is the one that is native to processing. It's unit for measuring arcs. And if you use the chart, that's going to be the numbers on the outside, and you're going to use it in just the exact same way that you map out the pi or degrees. It jumps in really small numbers. One thing to notice is, so here it starts at 0, and it jumps by units of 16. So just to know what this full number would be, let's say I had an arc that stopped here, I need to know what this number is. So I would just add 16 on here, 0.16, and that would make this final number, like what's 360 degrees, or if you were using pi, 2 pi, and if you're using radians, that would be 6.29. So if you want to use radians, just simply plop in the numbers. So if I have my arc here, 50, 50, 100, 100, 0.47, so that would means my, I hate it when it does that, sorry. So my arc is starting right here, and it ends at 2.98. So if I come along, it ends right here. So this would be my arc. Alright, so let's just throw this into processing for a second. Let's say I had an arc that starts here and it goes over onto this side. Alright, so going over, bring up my processing sketch here. I'm going to get rid of all this, and my size is 500, 500, so I'm going to put it in an arc, and I'm going to put it in the middle. So that's 250 by 250, my x and y, so that's its center point will be in the middle, and its width and height I'll make it big, 300 by 300, and I already forgot where I said I wanted to start. So let's just pick another spot. Let's say I wanted to start here, so I'm going to put in 0.94, and I want it to go be a large one and end right here, 5.18, comma 5.18. Close it out, press play, and there it is. It's my Pac-Man. Okay, and I could choose to give it a different look at its ending by putting open, and that makes it a straight line, or chord, and that fills it. So I have a line added there. I'm going to take that out. I also could put a no fill. Did I capitalize my I? Yes, I did. Didn't mean to do that. Just as an example, you know, I could put in a fill. No fill, okay, and now I could put in a very thick, I could put in a stroke weight of 10. You know, just to point out like the different things. It starts out looking like Pac-Man and it ends up looking like a C, you know. There are all different kinds of things that you could do, and of course I could change my stroke color and so on and so forth. Okay, but next I want to talk about is what do you do if the arc goes past the starting point, right? So if we look at this arc right here, it has to go clockwise. So this is our starting point, and our ending point goes past the starting point. Alright, so if you were doing the units of pi, what you would do is you would just simply add onto it. So you'd say 2 pi plus quarter pi. Let me just point that out on the chart here. So if I ended, that's the problem with pi is that they go in these big chunks. But so if I ended over here, I start here, this is why it starts with pi. I go around, here's my 2 pi, so I say 2 pi plus add this quarter pi. Okay, now if I'm doing that with degrees, I do the exact same thing. So now I'm using degrees, I convert them by writing radians, 180, so it starts here, and it ends at 360 plus 50. And don't forget, you need a double parentheses. This parenthesis is the closing one for this one, and this parenthesis is the closing for all the functions of my arc. Okay, so you just add onto it. And if you are using radians, the exact same thing. So you remember where I got this number 6.29? Pulling up this chart. I just simply added, these are jumping in units of 0.16. The last number here was 6.13. So 6.13 plus 0.16 is 6.29. So this, as I'm coming around a second time, is 6.29 plus 0.79. For radians, you could also just do the math, and so whatever that would be, you could write that number. So here I'm having processing do the math for me, or you could simply put in the math. You can't do that with degrees or with pi, but it's one of the reasons that I like radians. When I'm using radians, I don't actually do it like this. I would just put in the number, whatever, 7.25 or 7.28, whatever the number is actually if you did that math. Okay? So what I'd like you guys to do now is to pause and to try the 3 different methods to create these arcs, and all on one screen, so they should just like move side by side. So the X will be moving over, but the Y is kind of the same. And do them once using pi, do them once using degrees, and then do them once using radians.